Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Bonfire Podcast, hosted by, created from, made up of Blue Ridge Overland gear. So yeah, if you're listening on your favorite podcast application or platform or whatever you want to call it, please leave us a review, share it with your friends, share it with your enemies, airdrop links to strangers in airports, and if you're on YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, and I don't know, maybe print up some flyers with QR codes and hang those around your neighborhood.
I totally should have randomly airdropped the link to the podcast at the airport yesterday.
Just, walking around waiting for people.
Oh, right, yeah, just walking through the thing and be like, everybody.
Yeah. Mine's so locked down, half the time Logan can't send me things. For me, like walking, I can't believe people walk around with like receiving everyone turned on. To me, that's the equivalent of like licking all the door handles in all the bathrooms. Like,
like both of those things sound exciting.
Yeah.
Both of those things sound exciting.
So hey, we are going to talk about kind of our favorite / dream / bucket list destinations for overland trips today. Kind of trips we have done, places we like to go back to, places that are on the must-see list that we haven't done yet. And if you've got any, like, please drop those in the comments or hit us up on social channels and let us know if either we missed some or you just wanted to throw your 2 cents in. We do take donations in the form of information.
Absolutely.
So, Matt, you were overlanding destination-wise the most well-traveled. So I'm not sure if that means you should go first or last, but maybe let's like start with what's your favorite one you have been on, like destination or region or specific trail. Narrow it down as much as you want to.
Okay, so I think if I'm going mostly by myself, or solo traveling, maybe with a group but not with family, Vermont ranks really high. I think it's a little boring for the family.
Yeah.
Because you're just out and you're working a lot. Like, it's a lot of work to kind of grind through Vermont.
And it's East Coast overlanding. You're in the woods.
Yeah. No,
there's no epic backdrop while you're on the trail. It's
no. You're in the flipping trees all the time.
Yeah.
And you're beating and banging for days.
Actually, often in a ditch.
Yeah. Right. Often in a creek.
Yeah.
Or right beside a creek, however that works. But yeah. So I mean, as far as like just my like. Personally, if I'm going by myself, a couple friends, a couple other vehicles kind of thing, then that would rank really high on my list. Family, I think, honestly, the place most people should go or start early if they go out west is like Southwest Colorado, Engineers Pass and the whatever that loop is called. There's a name for that loop. Alpine Loop. Yeah, that just Loop, that area, coming in out of Silverton. And so there's a lot to see, and there's some little towns to stop in, and it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool area.
And correct me if I'm wrong, it's not like hyper technical, right? Like
No, it's not. I mean, there's some big drops off to the side, but just don't drive over the side and you're fine.
Much like most roads.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. It's like I said, family wise, that would rank high. Wildlife wise, like I've had a really good luck, like in what's in South Dakota by
Badlands?
Badlands.
Yeah,
Badlands has been probably one of my...
Oh, yeah, you've talked about your, like... You got the full-on show from the...
Yeah, I've like, twice there, I've had, like, really epic sort of wildlife encounters.
Yeah. Would it be Bighorn?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, it was I think they were goats. I think those were, like, mountain goats. And it was
actual, white mountain goats.
Yeah. And that was crazy.
Yeah, Matt's may have told this story on the podcast before, but like an hour and a half of them just like battling it out, right? Just like
like an adolescent group of rams just fought. And I've had weird stuff like that there more than once. Like it's not just been that one time. And there's like a wildlife loop road that's there, and that wasn't even on. Like I wasn't far out of the camping. I mean, probably 10 or 15 miles maybe. Honestly, I think everybody should probably go run the Alpine Loop, and that's a good way to like get the family vested because like I said, there's some stuff to do in between. There's some places to stop and eat and do some things, but there's still camping's you plenty of places to stop and camp, and there's it's pretty epic scenery, and you can get out and play, and like we would sled on the with sleeping mats
Oh yeah,
on the snowpack, and
yeah.
I've probably said it before. The Raton NRA Center is pretty cool.
Oh yeah, like tons of camping and
Yeah, and the camping's really economical, and it's open 24 hours a day.
yeah,
And they have a bathhouse that's really nice. So like if if you've been on the road for a couple days, and it's just south of the sand dunes. So like
yeah,
if you've been on the road for a couple days, that NRA facility, it's like 50 plus thousand acres, and there's cool stuff there too. Like you can drive up into the hills there, and there's like old abandoned silver mines, and they've kind of got placards and stuff to kind of explain it. But it's a campground, and you'll have like weird stuff. There'll like be fox playing on your picnic table
yeah,
every night, and there'll be mule deer just aimlessly wandering through your campsite
yeah,
pretty much every day.
yeah,
So that's a pretty good place to stop. Those are my places that
yeah.
I think probably people should hit.
Mm.
Especially early,
Mm.
and depending on your
I was gonna
depending
say,
on what you want, like what you want to do, like how bad you want to beat your shit up. Like,
yeah.
if you want to test yourself and your gear, Vermont is a hell of a place to be.
Yeah, and I was going to say I don't know who to really like point people to. Peter Voller, is not up there anymore,
Right.
But Peter had a incredible network of trails,
Yeah.
ranking from like this will eat your truck to like stock friendly,
Yeah.
from top down.
And this will eat your truck.
Oh yeah, like Matt said, like oftentimes this creek ate this road, and now this road / creek will eat your truck. I was up there one time with MSO.
Yeah.
Literally off the pavement, you're on a little gravel road. It goes up a hill, maybe 100 yards.
Yep.
It goes into the trees, and within like barely out of sight of the gravel, the walls are window high on this trail.
Yeah.
And there's a rock the size of this table in the middle of the trail. You're down in the windows of your truck, and then the rock is like a good kitchen table. And I mean, you literally could like back out 3 lengths of the vehicle and be back on gravel, and it's just like,
Right.
it goes from 0 to 60 real quick on some of the higher class 4s up there. Yeah.
Yeah. I pulled a lot of cable in Vermont.
Yeah.
I mean, just pulled a lot of cable.
Man, and some of the blackest, muckiest dirt too.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. Never. And the other interesting thing about Vermont is you pull a lot of cable and you never fear for your life.
Yeah, yeah.
Like there's plenty of stuff to hook to.
Yeah, yeah.
There's plenty of solid trees to get to, or rocks to actually rig off of. And at no point was like looking down, going, "Oh, there's 6 flops to my death here."
Yeah, no.
And I was going someplace. Like, so it's not like a park where it's not like an off-road park where you're gonna go bum around, then you come back to where you were camping at. Like, this is, you come in at one town, you pop out, 7 hours later at a different, 6 hours later at a different town.
No,
And
yeah, that
then
was Gabby and I did. We went in with Peter and a couple of his kind of like core group.
Yep.
I don't know. We left from his house, and then all of a sudden we get spit out of this like half creek, half road onto a little 2-lane, and like 5 minutes later we're eating sandwiches at a general store.
Yeah. Nope. It's really neat
Yeah.
like that, because you're actually traveling kind of across Vermont,
Yeah,
which I think is the neat part about Vermont is it's not like go to a park, test your equipment, test your skill set. It's like, oh, we're actually traveling here. We're going to camp in a new place. We're going to have new places to eat. We're going to see new things, and we're going to spend some time in the woods. It's probably the most, or at least what I've been, the most interesting sort of technical crawling / traveling that you can do.
and it's in New England,
Right. And for us, it's not particularly far.
Yeah. All right,
So,
Logan, you're up. This is your favorite one you have done.
Well, again, I haven't really done a lot of. I haven't done a lot of technical overlanding. The only real overlanding trip I did was with MSO when we did the Potts Mountain Jeep Trail.
oh,
which
well,
was,
I mean,
that's eventful.
yeah. I mean, that's in the terms of like up there.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that was my introduction to like the technical side. So that was fun. But
Potts,
what I
for those of you who don't know, Potts is very much a almost like its own little mini off-road park. Like, it's a single trail.
Yeah.
It's pretty ugly, technical. Like, you
Couple of
there were definitely
optional.
with it being my introduction. There were definitely moments that I was like, we'd pull up to something like, I don't understand how this is possible. Like, we have to stop now, right?
Yeah.
And no, we did it. Yeah.
No, yeah, no. And it's like Rick said, there's some bypasses, but the bypasses are not like.
They still weren't great. We did
Well,
one
yeah,
bypass.
like you're not going to get around.
Yeah.
But then what I have done a good amount of is more like road trip.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like
You've
cross-country
you've road tripped
kinda
out
stuff.
west quite a bit, and
And on that front, just like I think the landscape that shocked me that I liked as much as I did that I want to go back to more is just like the Southwest in general, like southern Utah, like
Excuse me.
near Zion and Arches and all that stuff, parts of New Mexico. But I've always done those on my way somewhere other than a couple of the national parks. But that was backpacking trips. So as far as like exploring an area,
Yeah.
it's like I've driven through that like
Yeah.
2 or 3 times, but I'd like to go spend like a week just kind of.
Yeah,
doing
we've had
stuff there.
some pretty good trips to around Zion. The park itself was a little overwhelming for me because when we were there's just a crap load of people.
Yeah.
But we've had some epic campsites there, some neat places. And I really like the kind of before you get to all that, if you go like Glenville Dam area,
Yeah.
where Horseshoe Bend is, which is super grown up, like super fast. I couldn't believe, first time I went was probably 15 years ago. And then I came back like 3 or 4 years later and I'm like, holy crap, there's like buses and guardrails and like
Thanks, Instagram.
this place. Yeah, it was like devastating. Like we didn't actually spend much time at the top of Horseshoe Dam, but you can actually paddle from the Glenville Dam end, and you can put in at the park right there. That's basically it's below Horseshoe Bend, and you can put in. You can paddle up and back. It's like I think it's maybe 28 miles of what is before the Grand Canyon. So you go past that, put in. You're on the canyon. You need permits. It's a crisis. The 28 miles kind of upriver is all fair game. So you can do everything from rent boats from outfitters to fishing guides to whatever you want. And you're at the base of what would be the Horseshoe Bend overlook. That whole and there's camping. There's dispersed camping all over there, and it's real. Plus, there's a campground too. I guess that we've never used that because there's solid dispersed camping on the rim of the canyon. That's one of my favorite places to like stop, camp, spend a day.
Yeah.
Paddle the river.
Yeah, so
fish a little.
That's definitely on the list. And then the other place, which I had done some trips before. I'd flown out and done trips to this area, but then my wife and I did a cross country trip where we drove from Denver to Salt Lake City, kind of through the Rockies there, and that whole I forget what roads we even took, but that stretch of roads just like I would love to turn off every exit and go explore.
And go bum around.
Yeah. Tough to lose. I think probably my favorite one I've done that is kind of along the lines of Vermont that doesn't get a lot of love is the Kentucky Adventure Trail, and it's changed because of some closures since I've done a big chunk of it. But it was originally developed for dual sports, but then they made like alt routes for 4x4s, and that goes. I mean, so I used to live right across the border from southeast Kentucky. So that's the area I know the most, but it goes up through Red River Gorge. I think the kind of upper loop is a little maybe more like, farm roads, gravel roads, and then back down into like land between the lakes and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
I think Jeff Stoss is the guy that put that together. He's got a really well-run Facebook group where he keeps a pin post with the most up-to-date files at the top all the time. Really awesome. I mean, you go through some old mining land, that's wide open, like mountaintops. Good chance to see some elk and just like tons of great camping spots on that as well. I don't think people think about like Kentucky as an overlanding off-road.
No, that wouldn't cross my mind as a destination, I guess. So
yeah, but I mean, definitely some challenging. He has like 3 levels of like optional, like there's go arounds for these, but like hards 1, 2s, and 3s, and I've only done one of the 2s. I think was Hensley's, and like you kind of like what you said. There's some spots where you could really mess up a stock rig or stock plus a lift. You would need to be real good or have a real good spotter.
Yeah.
And then
or no cares.
Yeah. No, right. Yeah, you either need to be willing to put some dings in it, a really good spotter, or you're a really good driver.
Yeah.
And I think it's like a week's worth. I mean, I think I've never done the whole thing in a one shot. We used to just run up there and hop on different sections. But it would probably be like a good 5 or 6 day trip. And that's not with the hards. I think the guys on motos, obviously run a little heavier pace, but
yeah. Well, and I have to say, Kentucky would be interesting because the woods is similar to here.
Yeah.
I mean, you get a lot of the same East Tennessee feel.
Yeah, especially when you get over on like the far eastern Kentucky.
Yeah.
It's western West Virginia. So you get some pretty deep hollows and high mountains and stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I like I said, that wouldn't have crossed my mind, but it makes sense that.
Yeah.
And there's some, sort of Hatfield McCoy feel to it.
And it goes near or right through some really nice areas too, like Rock Creek near Stearns, Kentucky is beautiful. It's a kind of a mixed mountain or mixed species trout stream with some of the biggest just freestanding boulders I've seen in the southeast. I mean, literally the size of like 2 stories houses just hanging out in this creek. Or the creek goes all the way
around them,
and they're within sight of your camp. Really nice hemlock forest in there, and then Pickett State Park's right across the line in Tennessee, and it's got some decent like little spur trails and stuff around that state park. Because you kind of go through a good chunk of Daniel Boone National Forest, which backs up to Big South Fork National River Recreation Area, whatever they've upgraded it to.
They call that now.
So yeah, especially the southern section of the the Kentucky Adventure Trail, has a lot of options. So,
the CAT.
That's good. The Kentucky Adventure Trail. Yeah. Rolls off the tongue a lot better than the TAT, which would be the Trans-American Trail.
Right.
But,
the TAT.
You have the tit for tat. And then I have to say that, not going to lie, just got off a trip in Colorado with Dustin from Wazoo. And Wazoo makes, kind of EDC and adventure survival gear. And we just kind of picked some roads on OnX and had a lot of fun. We left kind of from his area, Longmont, Colorado, went up, I think about Fort Collins, headed west, stopped in this little town, or stopped at this little restaurant near Bellevue, had dinner on Sunday, and then hit the mountains and Rist Canyon, R-I-S-T, into Old Flowers Road. And the first couple miles of that are through some very nice ranches. I don't know if anybody listening to the podcast may have a ranch on Old Flowers Road, but if you've ever been looking for a self-sufficient 37-year-old son, I actually am available. Just hit us up on Instagram. I'll take care of the name change paperwork. But then we got into some pretty nice kind of evergreen forest, I guess kind of low elevation for that part of Colorado, and couple of good mud holes, so a really nice campsite right off the trail, some elephant tracks, couple of hill climbs, and then it spit us out kind of the northwestern border, I guess, of Rocky Mountain National Park. Matter of fact, we stopped at one lake, and if you go one lake down, it literally the one shore is Rocky Mountain National Park.
Okay.
From there, we kind of hauled ass on a road that had a ton of dispersed camping. I'd have to look it up. It was just dirt, but nice and wide. And then we cut across just shy of the Wyoming border on some open range, and we did about 300 miles. But man, it was kind of a wild, foothills, Front Range environment.
Yeah.
Rocky Mountains.
Yeah.
A lot of forest fire area up into a reservoir that was over 10,000 feet, and then you kind of come back off. You get in the Aspens, and then the last part was open range, southern Wyoming, Big Rock Mountains, stuff like that. It was a fun trip. So, Matt, you would have liked Vern's place. So, for one thing, amazing hamburgers, a bunch of different options. But you check out on the general store side, and they had this counter with cinnamon buns, and Dustin was like, oh my God, I forgot about these. They were approximately the size of the bottom third of a milk jug. Okay, like a gallon jug.
Yeah.
They were incredibly light and airy, and they were only $4 a piece. And the worst decision that I've made in a long time was we only got one, because splitting one seemed like the good choice when we bought it, when we only had half of one to eat the next morning.
Was really a bummer.
Yeah, I really would have liked to have had my own head-sized cinnamon bun. Sharing is caring, but I didn't care because we both wanted more cinnamon bun. So,
man.
Yeah. So Vern's place, hit them up, buy their cinnamon buns. Yeah.
So they ship? Can we get them?
Yeah.
Shipped in?
Yeah. Large flat rate. Do the math on that. It should only be $20 in cinnamon buns, but it'd be a large flat rate box. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of my two. If you're east, if you've never done the Kentucky Adventure Trail, pick a section, pick a day, check out the Facebook group.
And I think it's you forget because we live here, we end up a lot of it's down by Pisgah, North Carolina's nice, and North Georgia's a pretty nice place to be.
Yeah,
and you can do a lot of that kind of stuff in a weekend or long.
Our Georgia
weekend.
boys, I guess Alan's with him, but John, he's doing the Pisgah 500 right now. Yeah.
Okay.
That route of 500 miles in Pisgah. Yeah. No, that's a good call. Yeah, and man, like that's a good summer one because there's swimming holes and creeks and waterfalls
Everywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
Everywhere you go.
Like can't miss.
Yeah, no, I forget that, I guess because it's just part of our
Yeah.
life. It's like I've been down there enough times that I don't think about it
Yeah.
anymore as like it doesn't stick in my memory as, oh, holy crap.
Yeah.
I really should go there, but having been down there, fished a little bit and
Yeah.
enjoyed that area. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot like that I think we probably forget about being from the East, that
Well, I mean,
there's more in the East than I guess you think there is, or that people think there is. And I think that's not that being out West isn't great, but there's a lot of stuff I think that we just overlook.
well, I had a conversation with Dustin because he's from Texas, lived in Colorado for a while, but he's spent some time here, and I said, I don't ever want to say that like the East Coast or West Coast is better or worse than one or the other, because like out West it's all grand and like great vistas and views.
Yep.
But like on our trip we only really hit like 3 environments. It was like down in the Evergreens, up above like kind of high elevation, and then very desert scrubby occasional aspens. Whereas I feel like here there's like something cool around every twist and turn. Like there's some little waterfall or some little abandoned town or cabin or something,
No.
or
Or some little general store that you happen into, or
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I mean, like, what's that? There's a place not far from us that I forget the name of it right now, but they have really good bluegrass bands that come through like every Friday night.
Floyd Country store, Floyd County
Yeah,
store.
yeah,
It's in Floyd. Yeah,
Yeah.
like really good music.
really
Crazy.
good music, and like
It's like-
that's another one. Like you can be bumming around down that area and be like, oh, gonna stop here for the evening,
and see world class bluegrass. Like
like really good musicians like just
Mhm.
show up at that place. Weirdly, like they'll have crazy good bands that just like
people that you've heard of.
Right, yeah,
If you
that's
like
what I'm saying,
bluegrass, you would know.
yeah,
yeah, I mean like that just like, oh, we're here for a festival, let's stop in and play on
Yeah, yeah.
Tuesday night, or whatever, Friday night or whatever night they have it.
Floyd's also just kind of an interesting place to be.
Yeah, in general.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
there's a lot of that here that I think you can go like every day to something, spend a little time in the woods,
Yeah.
pop out someplace, be someplace interesting, and less probably technical and difficult than Vermont, but not 3 days in the wilderness kind of thing like you can get in Colorado.
Yeah, I
you're
know, because
out west.
we rolled in on Sunday night into the woods, and until Tuesday morning, we didn't see, outside of like giant ranches, we didn't see anything except for woods and the occasional very large property.
Yeah,
There were no neighborhoods, towns, communities.
yeah,
We rolled by one general store that had a little campground connected, but like it wasn't open. I guess we were
Right.
kind of off.
Well, and again, I think that's when you start thinking about, are you by yourself? What are you doing? What's the goal of that trip? Is the family coming? Is
Yeah.
I mean, how bored are the kids going to be
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
seeing the same thing for being locked in the back seat for 3 days or whatever? I mean, like, I think those are pieces that you have to factor into your decision making on where it makes sense to go. Is there some entertainment along the way that
Yeah.
maybe the rest of the group happens to be into that you're not necessarily maybe what you weren't thinking about, but
Yeah. So on the other side of the coin, what's your like bucket list? Like haven't done it yet? Want to go?
I have not spent much time in Idaho, and I need to get back and
Yeah, yeah.
probably do some of that. I've not spent hardly any time. Like I've sort of been through Moab, that area, but not spent time there. I don't know, but I at least need to do that.
Yeah.
I don't. It's not a. It doesn't seem to make my priority list every time, but
Yeah.
because it's not. I'm not looking to go crawling. I'm just looking to go see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that would be interesting. Like I said, there's some Idaho I haven't spent much time in, and I really would like to, because I think that's a place that's
Yeah.
probably pretty epic that I at least need to go see. And then Alaska. I want to drive the Alcan, and
I'm with you. That's fine. Yeah.
that
Yeah.
would be the big one, that as far as just pure trip.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd like to have a month or something, and
Yeah. That's kind of that's my dream, like destination trip. Enough time to really get in it.
yeah. The problem with that for me is I don't want to do it in a hurry.
Yeah. No. Same. Yeah.
Like I have no desire to be, oh my gosh, we need to get,
Just
I need to
blasted.
get back. Right.
Yeah.
I want to be able to bum my way out, spend a week getting to, or a week or 10 days getting to the start,
Yeah.
and then not have to be in a hurry
Yeah,
in any
no.
direction. That sort of trip would probably be my bucket list sort of.
Yeah.
But again, I need a fair bit of funding to be able to survive for a month or a month and a half. With,
Yeah. No, I'm with you. That can and like
without
some time on the
income.
coast, and because I'm going to want to do some fishing. I
Yeah.
want to do some different kinds of fishing. Logan, what's your dream destination?
It's
It has
funny-
to be technical off roading though. You got to make up for the fact.
Okay. Okay. Actually, honestly, funny enough, Idaho is on my list.
Okay.
That's a place I haven't been at all, and I have enough friends that do multiple outdoors things.
Yeah.
Whether it's off roading, backpacking, whatever.
Yeah.
That all of them are like, where you have to go is Idaho.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to with a guide on a raft. I think it's above my pay grade on whitewater, but the Snake,
Yeah.
the middle or no, is it the Middle Fork of the Salmon? I think it's the Middle Fork of the Salmon River. Actually, is the one I've looked at. That there's like a pretty good long multi-day rafting trip. That's the Middle Fork of the Salmon River. Yeah.
the problem is if you're going to do that, you should be floating the bob
Oh yeah.
and
Both
coming
the
in
Bob
out of
Marshall.
dead horse, and
Yeah.
because that's.
So I guess
I mean, that's the if you're going to fish, like
Yeah,
that's where the fishing is, and if you're going to spend the money to go that far,
yeah. So I guess we all are kind of on the Idaho page. But
Yeah.
yeah, tons
Idaho's
of climbing
there.
up there. Like
Yeah. That's it. Yes, everything. Yeah. It sounds like a good place. Alaska has been on my list for a long time before backpacking. I had friends that went and did Denali,
Oh, yeah.
and I had the invite and I didn't get to go. I just couldn't make it work. And
Yeah.
ever since I'm like, I gotta go do that. And then
Yeah,
the other place in
I have
general.
no
is-
desire to backpack in Alaska, like even a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, my fear is that I wouldn't be able to see enough.
Yeah.
Like, there
I
just
get
isn't
that.
enough time. Like,
Yeah,
because I want to,
And then the Canadian Rockies. My wife's Canadian, and I feel insane that I haven't been to any of the
Yeah,
Canadian
Banff would
Rockies.
be
Yeah,
interesting.
Banff.
Yeah.
I haven't made a run up there. That would be
because that's
be
like
cool too.
the Rockies. It's like kind of like the saying in the movie Into the Wild. It's like Alaska, or City, Alaska. It's like that's the Rockies there.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, that would be interesting too. I probably make my list a little just slightly lower than Alaska, but would be,
Yeah.
and maybe they could be part of my now growing to 2-month tour.
Yeah.
or whatever.
Now you're instead of a straight line, you're kind of making
making
it.
a jog.
It was a J. Now it's a bit of an S.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. No, for sure. That's true. And I was gonna say, just kind of circling back. What, this goes live Wednesday?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Logan,
And this is Monday, just for the record.
Yes.
No, this is Friday. Today's Friday.
Fuck, I don't know.
Yeah. I was like,
Yes.
no, it's,
Friday. I'm sorry.
No, it's
I've
not.
been gone.
Don't
so
take that
It
from me.
really
We'll
feels
say it
like
this
a
way.
Monday.
The day after this airs will be headed to West Virginia.
West Virginia, Logan's native land, and it's
Logan's native land.
and it's one of my I really love like
He's
northern.
naturalized.
Well, you're from Western West Virginia, but I like the northeastern corner of West Virginia
It's-
a lot, man. There's
To anyone who might hate me
What
for
do you
this,
count as the northeastern corner of West Virginia?
Well,
'Cause
not
I don't
that
think
weird-
that's where you're at.
not that weird peninsula, but yeah. I mean, like if you look at like Seneca Rocks
Yeah.
is like
Okay, when you say northeast, I think Wheeling across.
Oh,
from,
yeah.
I think Pittsburgh.
no, that's the middle finger of West Virginia.
Yeah.
I'm down here on the depending on how you, I'm either on the pointer or pinky knuckle, depending
Yeah.
on how you look at it.
I'm thinking Morgan Hall
Well-
North is where that's
Yeah.
northeastern.
But
if you do it the way that we do it, then you'd be on the point.
pointer knuckle. Okay,
Yeah,
it's
the
facing
pointer
you. I
knuckle.
was unsure. Also, of which hand? I guess that's
Yeah.
important. But no. I mean, I think it's like east, like I guess north and east of like Davis and Thomas, and is it Buchanan? Buchanan up there, like
Not Buchanan.
Not Buchanan. That's on
That's
the other
here.
side of the mountain, right? Yeah, I don't want anybody to
Buchanan.
fight me when I get up there.
Yeah.
But man alive, there's just some like really deep dark hollows and
Yeah.
some gnarly trout streams. Like I like some good vertical trout fishing, and
Yeah.
you definitely can find it up there.
I love that's my favorite area of West Virginia too.
Yeah.
Honestly, like the gorge is really nice. But, but yeah, I love that area. Like all of the weird like high elevation stuff up there. It's so
Nothing against the gorge, but you can get that in places in Tennessee and North Carolina, like that kind of like like
that feel.
like New River, Linville, like kind of
Right.
6-1, half a dozen. But I'm not aware of maybe a few places in Tennessee and like Grayson Highlands in Virginia, but those are concentrated. Whereas where we're going to go Thursday,
It's all like that.
yeah, I mean, like there's actual like bogs and
Yeah.
stuff like that up
Like
there.
Dolly Sods and Seneca.
Yeah,
are
yeah.
So beautiful. And
Yeah.
it is probably Grayson Highlands is probably the closest thing to that.
Yeah,
feel.
but just a smaller
Yeah.
scale.
Smaller,
Yeah.
yeah. It's amazing how there's amazing how much stuff there is to do here that you can do in 4 days.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
3 days long weekend that you don't have to commit to 2.5 or 2
Yeah.
weeks or whatever.
And especially for like that stuff, you can leave Lynchburg or Richmond at breakfast and be up there by lunch, like in the thick of that stuff.
Right, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah,
that's an easy, like for sure day trip kind of stuff that I think a lot of people miss out on.
yeah. And I don't think people maybe even appreciate going back to the wildlife side. I was up there one time, like damn near close to like the Maryland line, but way up in the mountains, and fishing, and this little critter comes down through the boulders, and I was like, what is that?
Chupacabra.
Well, I mean, at first I was like, that is the biggest mink/weasel I've ever seen. And then, like, it actually gave me a good second to look at it. Hopped online, did some research, and like marten actually come down that far because, again, it is such a high elevation, kind of like unusual environment. And I mean, like, I'm 90% sure I was 10 yards from a marten, and then it did what any of that kind of animals do and turns around and like just disappeared in 3 steps.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, but obviously,
gone.
I mean, like that, either it was somebody dumped their steroids in the woods and a mink got into them,
Right.
and that's something that like you would expect in New England, Canada. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah. My super white gray fox was
yeah.
recently the other day was kind of interesting too, but that was in my driveway. So
Yeah.
It's all bear here. Did we talk about that on the
Oh
last
yeah, we haven't
podcast?
talked about that. Last week Logan and I
Yes.
walked up the driveway.
you guys had another one.
No,
that's
same one.
Did we
Yeah.
talk about that on the podcast?
I don't think we have.
The one I had pictures of.
Oh yeah.
Different day.
But you were here.
Different day.
Yeah,
Oh no, I think you just pulled back in right after that, didn't he?
maybe.
Yeah. We were coming back up like through where everybody parks, and a little like yearling he was already running. I think somebody was mowing on the other side. He was already running, saw us, and was like, crap, and like he peeled off at a 45-degree angle and went down like through the cut at the front of the property. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, not nearly as large as as the one you got the close photos of.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't have
he
enough
was.
time to get photos, but we're close enough that if we had that time,
Yeah, because he was booking. He was at a
I didn't
full
know
gate.
I did either because
Yeah.
I was actually on the phone and I'm like, holy shit! Trying to get my camera
Yeah.
on, and which is a bit of a shit show for me.
Which I guess people don't, a lot of people don't think about. I was at work and I saw a bear, and then somebody else at work was like, I was at work and saw a bear. Like that doesn't happen a lot unless you work in downtown Gatlinburg.
Does that count? Because
are those on leashes? Though?
yeah, right.
Yeah,
I mean, I
really,
feel
no.
like this, like they're about pets.
Yeah.
These are definitely not.
If found, return to the town of Gatlinburg kind
Yeah.
of thing. Yeah.
For sure, this guy wasn't carrying that sign.
Yeah, no.
I'm lost. Please take me to Gatlinburg.
Yeah. Yeah. Not a wild bear. I'm a town bear.
I'm a town bear.
Yeah.
I have a name.
Yeah. Well,
Although we can name this one.
that's
I guess,
true. We got anything else? I feel like, man, everybody, let's just take a moment to appreciate how well that we did at staying on topic.
It was pretty good.
Short of the coffee and the bear,
Yeah.
short of the bear thing, I think we did good.
Yeah. Well, hey, we'll be back with another one. We're gonna have a special guest on the next episode, a very special guest.
Oh yeah, we are
Yeah,
an in studio guest. Who knew?
it's been a minute since we've had that happen. Yeah,
Yeah,
and mostly it's just because Logan's gonna be gone that day.
yeah. That's the only reason we're doing it.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that and he's coming in from Colorado, so
Yeah,
Yeah, multiple reasons. It lined up.
yeah,
The stars aligned.
exactly how we planned.
Right. Exactly
Yeah.
how we planned it.
Uh,
If we were planners, this is how we would have
Exactly,
planned
but we're such good planners, we didn't even
Need to
actively
plan?
plan it.
We didn't
It
even
just
need to
yeah,
plan. It
it
just
seems like a circumstance and happenstance, but it's not.
it. It's great.
We manifested it.
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
like our
Nice.
destiny.
Yeah.
Um,
Like
yeah.
our destiny.
Well, hey, that's all we got. As always, thanks for listening, watching. I don't know, reading the transcript.
wasting your last
Yeah,
45 minutes with us. We appreciate that.
yeah. If you're if you're at Adventure X Fest with MSO with Jason's crew this upcoming weekend, give us a shout. Logan and I will be in the ZR2. We'll be parked somewhere. We'll be bringing some special deals on a little bit of Blue Ridge gear. Yeah,
Some second stuff, right?
yeah. Seconds prototype stuff, kind of like what we do at the flea market. But we're bring some up for them at the Adventure X-Fest crew. Yeah.
Cool. That'll be exciting.
Yeah.
Because we definitely have some prototype pieces. And
Yeah. There's some different stuff kind of in the bin now. Yeah.
Yeah. Some prototype pieces and some like sample pieces that are.
I saw the OG chest rig that we took to Norway was in there because we changed up the front a little bit.
Did I put it in there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that'll probably be in there somewhere.
Yeah. There's maybe a couple chest rigs in there by the time we're done.
Awesome. Well, I think that makes it. We will see you in 2 weeks. Thanks for listening, watching, being here.
All right.